Hello everybody, it's lovely to be here. My name is Elske. I work with the ARD Family Resource Centre in Doughiska, and I've been there over 10 years now. Just going to move on to the slides here. So I really enjoy my job. I've been working in Doughiska for over 10 years. I'm a community development worker and family support worker. So today I'm speaking for 5 minutes, and Natasha, my colleague, will speak for 5. So I'll be flying through it. So the background to ARD, so we've been open 12 years now, meeting a growing need of a very fast growing suburb. We're based on the east side of Galway City. It's a very multicultural area. There's over 60% of the population there are non-Irish. And there's over 41 languages spoken in the local secondary school. And there's a higher proportion of people in this area are living in private rented accommodation compared to state average. So we are dealing with a lot of housing issues, as you all are around the country, but it's a big one in this area. Around the diversity, we meet diverse needs. So in my role as family support worker, I coordinate English classes, the Fáilte Stock English classes. They've been running for over 10 years now. And we work with a team of volunteers, so amazing volunteers who've come and gone over the years. And as the majority of people who use the centre, English is not their first language, so we do a lot of targeted work. So I would do a lot of work in filling the gaps around housing, assisting people filling forms, accessing services in the council. A lot of people are homeless with notice to quit. Health is a big issue, mental health. People are on waiting lists. Majority of people we're dealing with are on waiting lists for mental health services, CAMS, for example. We would get a lot of calls from distressed families. So we try to support them as much as we can while they're on waiting lists. We do refer as much as we can to the state agencies and other agencies around the city. We have an in-house psychotherapist who's dealing with child and adolescents and adults also, which is fantastic. So that is a good source of help for now. Immigration then, I'm linking in a lot of people to the local immigration Garda office. Immigration issues such as citizenship, renewing stamp 4s, residency is a big issue for a lot of people we're supporting. So then in the last year, as you all know, we had the Ukrainian-Russian war, and big crowd arrived into the local area and were housed in 3 local hotels. So we would have met them in their own accommodation and to talk to them to see what their needs were and find out what the numbers were of children and adults. And we organised activities such as the singing and wellbeing workshops here, which were funded through the City Council. And there has been a lot of funding focused at Ukrainian groups in the last year, but we do try to integrate the work as much as we can. So in this group here, we have a mix of nationalities coming together, which is very important. So there's focused activities also. We've been running coffee mornings weekly for the last year, and we invite in other agencies such as Galway City Partnership, GRETB, and other agencies to come in and provide services. We've put on additional English classes. There's been dance and drama classes for children, and the art class run by a Ukrainian volunteer who's also an artist. We're running a summer festival coming up, so we'll be linking in our Ukrainians with the active retired. And the active retired group in Doughiska are very active, and they're made up of mostly Irish people, I suppose, who were there originally in the area, and were very open and welcoming to the newcomers in our community, which is fantastic. So we are planning to bring them together to sing a few songs. So they're going to sing a song in Irish, Ukrainian, and English. So that should be nice. So now I'll just speak a bit more about the integration work that we do. So a lot of the work we do is about bringing people together. All of the activities, in fact, are mixed nationalities and ethnicities. It's about breaking barriers and building confidence. And another example we had on St. Bridget's Day, where we had the local schools, children with special needs, and the active retired and Ukrainians made Bridget's crosses together. So unfortunately, the highlighted bit at the bottom is gone. This is about the Africa Day events, which we organised in the community successfully for over 6 years, and really about the community development approach like Fergal spoke about earlier. it's very important to bring in this from the initial start of planning. So we would bring people together so everyone's voice is heard. So this is a committee that was made up, and now this group exists, and they're called the Africa United Galway Group, and they are now running out the events made up of various different countries. So we ran the events. We linked in a lot with local schools such as Merlin College, and they provided their hall for us to use there. Also direct provision centres. As you know, people are living for many years in limbo, so very important to integrate people into the community and build their skills and confidence. And we also worked in partnership with ATU, and they allowed us to use their kitchen, so people used the kitchen for the cooking, and the food was always a big part of the day. So there you can see the menus from different countries that were involved. So lastly, just why do such work? Why do we focus on doing these type of activities? So the impact, really, it's allowing people to have their say. People are there from the beginning. It's empowering. You're allowing people to share their culture, which is very important in such a mixed community as Doughiska. It's important that people get to know one another and learn about each other's cultures. So a lot of the work we've done is centred around that. And people who are new to the area, it allows them to build trust in a relaxed manner, so they can open up and seek supports around other issues. So we found that through the family support clinics and the integration work, that people will, in time, open up and seek other supports also. So that's all from me today. It's lovely to meet you. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name's Natasha, and I also work in Art Family Resource Centre. I've worked there for 7 years and I'm part-time, and I'm going to speak to you about our Global Citizenship Education project. We feel it's another example, like Eileen said, of an innovative project within an FRC. So this project evolved about 3 years ago. We identified an emerging need in our community. In particular, in our youth work, we noticed that young people really needed a space to explore global justice issues that were having an impact on their lives and locally. Issues such as racism and discrimination, gender inequality, and climate change. So we had an opportunity for some of us to upskill, myself and my co-facilitator on this project, Christina. We did some training. We applied for funding through Irish Aid, and we were grateful to get the grant. It wasn't as easy as I'm brushing over now, but we had great support from the National Youth Council of Ireland, who really believed in our project and helped us along the way. And from that, the World Within project developed. So there's different components of this project, one being peer learning sessions. So they're monthly sessions for all of our staff in the FRC and external services that are based in our centre, such as Feroiga, community educators, our placement students and volunteers. We focus on global justice issues and their impact locally. And we've really found that it's given us an opportunity as staff to reflect critically on our work, to identify our own biases, and to see the gaps in our practice. We really try to emphasize local voices within our community too that we can learn from. And the photo that you see there is a recent session we had with Helen Ogbu, who was talking us through her research exploring the experience of young people from African descent growing up in Ireland and transitioning into adulthood. And it is so relevant to our work, so it's really helping us in our practice. Then we have our youth work. So we have two youth groups, Our Fair World, which are 8 to 12-year-olds, and our Global Citizenship group, which is 13 years plus. And I'm just going to focus on our Global Citizenship group. We are so proud of the work that they have done over the last 2 years. You can see they've made a beautiful banner that has the values that they hold very dear to themselves and our group: joy, freedom, and equality for all. And they definitely align with the values that have been spoken about today as well in all FRCs. So this group have done a lot of projects, and they have really made the local community, their parents, all of us extremely proud. And I would say that sometimes people might look at our community in Doughiska and only see it as being a disadvantaged community. and it definitely has its, people are facing challenges there, but by just looking at young people through that lens, you're overlooking their expertise, their wisdom, their life experience, their dreams and ambitions for a better future for all, not just themselves, but for all in society. And they have a lot to say, and it's been a joy to work alongside them. And we really believe in supporting especially young people from minority ethnic backgrounds to have their voices heard in decision-making spaces, and to be able to create positive change in their communities and wider. One example of this is a project that we did recently in collaboration with Concern Worldwide and the Irish Refugee Council, and our youth group created a youth-led resource called Tight Spaces, and its aim is to raise awareness among other young people about direct provision and the lived experiences of people within that system, and to work towards actions to call for change. And I have copies of the resource. If anyone wants to talk to me about it, I'd be really happy to talk more. But yeah, that's an example of one of the great projects this group has done and how their actions are going beyond themselves. And I wanted to highlight too about the personal impact of this type of youth work. When we are working towards an action that's beyond ourselves, I think it can be very powerful. And I have seen the group grow in confidence as they are recognizing that their voices can be heard and they can make a difference. And I don't expect you to look at all those quotes, but I just want to highlight one. We recently evaluated the first 2 years of this project, and one of the young people said that, "I have become so much more confident with myself. I feel so comfortable here, and that pours over other aspects of my life. I feel like I'm genuinely happy now after the group." So that youth work in general can have that impact on young people, but I have just seen it with such force with this project, and I just wanted to share that with you. And lastly, just to finish up, to say, we always think of ourselves as a small project, but with big ambitions, and I'd say everybody in this room feels the same about the work that they're doing. We have had the chance to do meaningful collaborations with national organizations and bring our young people to national events to be heard. So here's a photo of Alona, Serene, and Jamila. We were at an event a couple of months ago, and they seized the opportunity to share their resource with Minister O'Gorman and to voice their call for the government to take action to support young people and all in direct provision. And I'm finishing with a quote, which one of our young people said: "Working as a group has a bigger impact." And I think we can see that today from all the work that's been highlighted. And Elske showed that through the community development work that's happening in the community. So thank you for your time. And yeah.